You are listening to a podcast by the Little School of Happiness. My name is Sandra Hayes and I'm your host. Here you will find episodes on all the Vedic teachings like yoga, Ayurveda and Vedic astrology. For more information about me and my offerings, please go to sandrahayes.eu, or if you're in Germany, sandrahayes.de. Hello again and welcome to another episode on the nakshatras. And if you're just tuning in now and you don't know what nakshatras are, I suggest you go back another 4 episodes and listen to the introduction to nakshatras and the previous nakshatras, the previous lunar constellation that are specific to Vedic astrology. And also, if you are looking at your chart and trying to find out where your nakshatras are, or where your planets are, in which nakshatra, then it is good if you had a Vedic birth chart. And if you only have a Western chart, then just be sure to go back about 24 degrees. So if, for example, your sun is at the beginning of Leo somewhere, then you go 24 degrees back into Cancer and look where you're at there, because that is the sidereal chart we're looking at for the nakshatras. So now we're getting to the 5th of the lunar constellations, Mrigashira Nakshatra. Mrigashira is a very urgent nakshatra, I would say. It is ruled by Mars, and it actually is a nakshatra really that has to do with the wandering mind and the sacred hunt. And when the moon is in Mrigashira, then we might feel the urge to look for something, to seek something, to move, to maybe explore something. There is a little bit of a restlessness in the air. We might be questioning something, we might be curious about something, or we have maybe a longing for something as well that doesn't quite want to settle. Mrigashira is the star of the seeker and of the wanderer. The name comes from Mriga, which is deer, and Shira, which is the head. So literally, it's the head of the deer. And if we think of a deer, so what are the characteristics of a deer? A deer is very graceful. It's very alert as well. It's always listening out. If a deer is in the woods, I have this picture of a deer with, the head up and the ears pointed and looking and listening and really being very alert and cautious. And it moves very gracefully and very gently through the forest. And it's really well attuned to the forest as well, to its environment. It will notice every single sound, every possibility of food, but also of danger. And yeah, it's like it follows the scent of something. And it's probably looking for food, for any kind of nourishment, but also, watching out for danger. And Mrigashira is the place in the zodiac where the searching begins. We have been likening the other nakshatras with, Ketu ruled Ashwini nakshatra being the seed, the idea, the first step toward manifestation, and then Bharani being the womb where it's all baking into reality. And then in Kritika, it's born into the harsh light of reality. And then comes Rohini, where it is fed and it grows. And now in Mrigashira, it will go its own way, the person or the soul will go its own way and search, go on its hero's journey, and go on a search, really, on a search for something. What is out there? What is beyond my comfort zone? And so let's explore this a little bit. It's ruled by Mars, but the deity is actually Soma, or Chandra, which is the moon, or the god of the moon. So it has the influence of both, of Mars and also of the moon. And Mrigashira is starting at the end of Taurus, and it will go into Gemini. So it's also has this influence depending on where the planets are. If they're in Taurus, they will have a little bit more of a Venus influence, and if they're in Gemini, they have a little bit more from Mercury influence. So this nakshatra, or the story of the chasing mind, is connected to the myth of Soma. Soma is another name for the moon, or for Chandra. And in this story, Soma was said to have been stolen from the gods. So Soma is not just the moon, but it's also referring to this elixir of the moon. So the moon, it has an affinity to emotions, and therefore also to hormones. And we all know when the moon is full, then we might be, drunk with emotion. And there's all sorts of stories about, people being ecstatic, or lovers under a full moon, or, the hormones are raging. And it's obvious because the moon has a lot of influence on the tides, so it attracts water, and it also has an influence on our own inner tides. So in Vedic mythology, Soma is this elixir that gives us eternal youth and beauty and love, and also makes us blissful. So it's a little bit like our inner hormones, like oxytocin maybe, and dopamines and serotonin, all these hormones that make us elated and feel happy. And this is this nectar, and it's said to have been stolen from the gods and hidden away. And then the sages and all the deities were searching for it, because they really were desiring that nectar, that blissful feeling. It's like a drug, like a morphine almost. It has a subtle power over them. And in this myth, the deer becomes the symbol for this search for Soma, the search for the good feelings, for beauty, for love, for truth, for God, for spirituality, for whatever it is that makes us feel good and nourished. And the deer is running not from something in that story, but towards something. It's got the nose on the ground, and it's following a scent. It's following a promise. And in another layer of that story, Chandra, the moon, is Soma himself, and he is actually pursued by Daksha, and he's pursued, as you know from the previous story, about his favorite wife Rohini. As you know, he's married to the 27 stars, to the 27 nakshatras, but his favorite wife is Rohini, so he was neglecting the other wives, and Daksha was mad at him for it, and so he was pursued by Daksha for showing favoritism to his one daughter Rohini. And Chandra in the story runs away from him, and he's chased by Daksha across the sky, and Daksha in that was his karma, and Chandra was the deer. So it's like the deer is chasing across the sky, running away from his karma. And that refers to the restlessness and emotional vulnerability of the moon in Mrigashira. So given that story and the symbolism of the deer as well, when we look at the core themes of Mrigashira Nakshatra, it is seeking and wondering, because anyone who has the moon in Mrigashira or another important planet maybe in Mrigashira, they are seekers. They rarely sit still for long. Their minds are really curious. They might be poetic as well, or very reflective. They are longing for something. They're looking for something. Even they might not know what it is themselves, but there's always this sense of longing or restlessness. And they're also these kind of people that are lifelong learners. They are constantly, learning more, doing another course, pursuing something else, or travelers or spiritual explorers. But sometimes there's always a shadow side as well. It can also bring indecision and distraction and a certain ungroundedness in people. And another thing that the moon gives, the moon's rulership of this nakshatra gives a certain emotional sensitivity. So there is a really great emotional depth in anyone with Mrigashira because of the moon, because of Soma. And so they become very sensitive also to beauty, and very receptive to things like music and poetry or sensual aromas or tastes or, things like that, subtle energies. And they often feel things really deeply as well. But also often they hide their emotions under some shyness maybe sometimes, or introvertedness or mystery sometimes, depending on other aspects in the chart. And then there's also, and this is coming from Gemini, probably because this nakshatra goes into Gemini, and even though Taurus has a sensuality to it as well, and Gemini is often connected to sex as well, because it's two people. It's not twins, actually. The image of them, it's not twins, but it's a couple. So there is a sexual and a romantic curiosity here as well. And this nakshatra can really bring a very flirtatious nature as well. Not because they're very lusty or something, but because they have a need to connect and to, there's a longing there as well to explore the experience of love and of desire. And also the deer is often depicted as a symbol for feminine sensuality and for this, graceful femininity. There's also, as I said, the shadow side of restlessness, or dissatisfaction, the feeling that there's always more, there's always something else that we have to search for. And it's like the grass is always greener on the other side, that kind of thinking that happens often. And maybe always these wondering if the next thing might bring more fulfillment or might be better than what we have right now. And Mrigashira, the lesson here is really to learn the difference between longing and what I am aligned with. And so this is not easy sometimes for people, it all depends, like I said, on many other things in the chart, on many other aspects, but this could be a difficulty for people with Mrigashira, is this, constant not really being satisfied with what they have, because it is always about the search for the next thing. So, that could be a big lesson to see, what am I actually searching for? Or am I running away from something or running towards something? And what does that mean? And what would it mean if I stayed, or if I actually found something? And this finding something, like a deer in the woods, is looking for nourishment and safety, of course, as well. So also with Mrigashira, it's nourishment and healing and nurturing and medicine that it can bring. So the deer in the woods might pick on some herbs or chew the grasses, or so it gets things, it gets nourishment, it gets medicine. So it's about that too. It's about medicine, herbal medicine, maybe. It's about nourishing, caregiving, even about teaching as well, nourishing others through, whatever gifts we have. So this is the gift of Mrigashira as well. They can lead others in their search as well. And if you want to work with that energy, with Mrigashira energy, then we can practice following our own path, our own scent, so our own instinct and our own curiosity. So letting curiosity lead us with awareness. So we can ask ourselves, for example, what is it that I am really seeking? And what is it that I'm chasing? Am I chasing something external to fill some internal need, or to fill some void, something, that I think I don't have something? Is it out of lack that I'm searching? And what is that lack that I think I have? Is it something spiritual, or is it something material or physical? So these are questions to pose when we have moon in Mrigashira, when the moon is transiting Mrigashira. We can also try to ground the mind with practices like walking in nature, or journaling, or meditating, or breath work. There's a lot that we can do, and there's a lot of methods that we all have access to these days that can really ground us and focus us and make us calm again, so that we can discern, that we can know what are we searching for, that we're not running away from something, but because one of the things that we're at the end of the day are always looking for is ourselves. So it's our own identity. Who am I? What makes me happy? This is what our journey is like, the scent that we should all follow when we are going on this hero's journey, when we're leaving the comfort zone, and we're trying to find our own authenticity and our own identity. Then the way to that, the path, the scent that leads to that, is our own joy. So we have to just find out, what is it that brings me joy, that really makes me feel perfectly good. And just like the deer as well, that senses a lot through the body as well. So the body would react. If the deer senses danger, then it will either go into, it doesn't go into fight, but it will either flee or it will freeze. But when the deer is relaxed, then the muscle tone is different, and the movement is graceful. And so we can also learn from that and listen to our own body and listen to our body's reaction. How does my body react when I am in certain situations, for example, with certain people, or doing certain tasks, or doing a certain job? How does my body react to it? And in that way, we can find out what is our path, and what do we like. And Mrigashira gives us a lot of grace as well. And we can find that grace in our movement, maybe in artistic expression, writing, poetry, music, dance, whatever it is. And also anything that is sensory based, like using essential oils or beautiful textures or massage or things like that. And also because of the instinctual nature of Mrigashira, of the deer, we can do things like dream work. We can see what kind of dreams do we have and what do these dreams want to tell us. And then also the other thing that Mrigashira is teaching us is, because the deer in the woods is not about the goal. Yes, it's searching for something, but the joy is in the search. The deer moves because it just has to move. It's wandering. It's wandering with awareness. So can we enjoy this path? Can we just simply enjoy the search and enjoy trying different things and exploring things, and not necessarily with the aim of it has to lead somewhere, it has to lead to a goal quickly. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to lead to any goal quickly. The deer doesn't have a goal. It's just wandering around the forest and on the path. It's tasting all these beautiful herbs and grasses. So this is our lesson too. In my life, where am I trying to arrive instead of just exploring? That's another question we can ask ourselves. Instead of rushing to find answers, can we not just enjoy the ride? So we can we can ask ourselves that, we can meditate on that, light a candle, tune into our inner senses, and reflect on all of these questions. Mrigashira is the star of the hunter, but a soft hunter, a soft-footed hunter, someone who moves not with violence, but with a lot of care and sensitivity and longing. Someone who follows the scent of the soul and is searching for nourishment and meaning as well. So this is what Mrigashira is asking us, is what is it that I'm really seeking? What is my longing, and where is it trying to lead me? And can I enjoy the journey? So I hope that this is helpful to you and that it was interesting, and I look forward to connecting with you again. This was it for Mrigashira today, and I will speak to you tomorrow again. Bye for now. You were listening to a podcast by the Little School of Happiness. For more information, please go to sandrahayes.eu, or if you are in Germany, sandrahayes.de.